What's up, homies and hoes? I'm back 1 month later as promised. Back on the survival world. And got some stuff to show. Not as much has happened in this past month, but still some good progress has been made. The past month has been just me working on this world. Killer hasn't really been up to playing Minecraft over the past month. He's been engaged in other games. So it's mostly just been me on here. So the first difference from the last time you saw this world is I started the netherification of the overworld. Started placing down some of the crimson and warped sections, just kind of testing out how I wanted some of this to look, how I wanted some of this landscape to be. The mushrooms acting as the kind of trees of the nether. Built these just to test out how I wanted them to look. Tested out some different designs. So with the red mushrooms, I wanted them to be more flat at the top, sort of like the brown mushroom when it's fully grown. And then the blue warped ones, I wanted them to be more like the red mushrooms, where they're sort of mushroomed. And yeah, this is the inside of this one. And this one is similar as well. And on the outside I put some bubble coral, as well as some cyan carpets. And then for the red mushrooms, the crimson mushrooms, I put fire coral on the outside, as well as some of the vines on the insides. And then for the bigger mushrooms, I'd added some of the coral on the inside and some shroom lights hanging down, some longer vines. Also, I tried to add more mushrooms around where the larger mushrooms were, so for both of the biomes, there's going to be more mushrooms around the larger ones. This is just the rail duplicator that's been here since last video. This right here is the project board. Just something I put up to get an eye to, have some place where all the ideas are in one place, so I don't have to just keep it all memorized. If there's ever a time where I don't know what to work on, I can come over here, see if I want to work on any of this stuff. Some of this stuff isn't, necessarily stuff that we're gonna build, but they're just ideas for stuff that we could add if we want to. So back here, I'm trying to make this more like a stone coast with the warped biome. So over here, the terrain was pretty low and level with the ocean here. Well, it goes out to the ocean. So just trying to make it more steep going up, and then right here is where it's all going to level out up here. Have a spot to build something. And the water ocean itself, I plan on making all the area around here like this. So how under here we've got some magma blocks creating bubble columns. We've got the netherrack going down, and then the ocean floor, so to say, is all gravel. Might change it up a bit. Not sure if I'll go fully gravel on this whole thing. But this is just kind of the idea that I had. And it'd be like this for most of this other area as well. Another thing to note is that there's now 4 2x2 beacons surrounding our base area. This is so that we get all of these buffs no matter where we are within here. I've placed them so that each one is 100 blocks away from the other. Since beacons only reach a max of 50 blocks, if they're 100 blocks away, that's 50 blocks in between, so there won't be any dead space in between where you won't get the effects. And it's like that all the way around. Each one is 100 blocks away from the other. And they're also at Y50, I believe, so that they will reach down as well as reach up, since we're at Y63 right now. So, we still have another 40 blocks up before we start to lose the effect. Also, this soul sand path, originally it was just the soul soil in here with the deep slate bottom here and the basalt columns on the sides. But it just looked a little too bland, a little too samey, I guess. So I decided to add in some soul sand here and there. And that worked. It looked better, but it was still just missing a little bit, and decided to add the nether wart in, and just makes it look messier. And I think it really works. This isn't supposed to be really clean looking, since this is supposed to be like the nether. So this path isn't really even. It kind of moves off to the left side, then it kind of moves back off to the right side. It's not really even or symmetrical anywhere. It's just all kind of random. And this lava right here, originally I was wanting to have a lava fountain over here, but it just seemed really weird looking having a cleanly built fountain structure that you would use, you would put water on. So I decided to change up how it would look, and made it just more like this, where it looks like the lava is just erupting out of the ground. And I think it works better. The lava fountain idea really didn't look good, and it needed to be uneven like it is here to keep up with the theme. So I think this just worked out better. Some small things to note about since the last video. Killed most of the cows and reduced them to just 3 in here. The pigs are still here since they've been here since day 1. So we have to keep them here and then move them into the barn whenever we make that, or wherever we move the animals. So that's why this is still here, because we got to keep the pigs, we got to keep the cows. I also took out all of the villager homes that were here except for this one, because under here is still the shell of the original base, as well as the path that goes down to the end portal and a path that goes down to Y-63 or whatever it is now, because this is where we mine out all the deep slate we need. So this structure is just going to be here for a bit longer till we figure out what we're going to do right here. Sheep are still here as well, because we need them, and I had to dye 2 of them cyan for the mushrooms over there. This old villager trading hall is still here. We still need it, but I've moved all the villagers out. I've been letting the breeder run for a while, sort of stock up on them because the villagers go fast. Over here at the iron farm, I've disconnected the iron farm so it's no longer running because, I mean, we just don't need the iron. We have 7 or 8 shulkers of iron blocks, so we really don't need any more iron. We don't use it for anything. The only time I ever used it was to trade iron with villagers to get emeralds so that I could use the emeralds to work on the stonemasons trades. But I don't even need to trade iron anymore. Also, as you saw earlier, I'm starting to mark out the area up here for how far I need to extend this land, and getting an idea of how much area we have to work with. Over here I've gotten rid of all the wheat, carrots, and potatoes. We don't need the carrots and potatoes anymore because we got an auto farm of that. And the wheat, we're not trading wheat for anything. We don't need wheat for anything. And if we did need wheat for something, we can make an auto farm for it or something. But yeah, also this nether portal is now here since we've disconnected the iron farm up there. Now this nether portal actually takes us to the nether roof, where we've got, different farms and stuff on the roof for gold and wither skeleton skulls. And there's also other portals on the roof that lead to different parts of the world, like a desert, a warm ocean. So at the villager trading hall, not much has changed. Well, pretty much nothing's changed on this floor, except that I've moved villagers in here. I don't even remember if I had the iron villagers in here all traded up before. There's also iron golems in here because I put them in here. Apparently at some point, 4 of these villagers got transformed back into zombie villagers. So I had to transform them back. And then I went ahead and put the iron golems in here just to guard them in case another zombie wanders in. Pretty sure it was because the roof of this didn't have torches on it, and this whole top section right here was spawnable. And since this was basically the only spawnable area in a decent radius around here, just tons of zombies would spawn up here. And by tons, I mean like 6 or 7 would spawn up here. So, yeah, the stonemasons. I only need 4 more stonemason trades because I'm working on getting all of them to have unique terracotta trades. But since it's random, as you can imagine, it's pretty time consuming to just roll the dice on their trades every time. You gotta level them up 4 times before they show the terracotta. Then if it's not even, if they don't have 2 trades that you need, then you gotta kill them, try again with another. But gotten most of them at least. It's those last 4 that are gonna really take some time. Just putting them off because I don't want to do it. But downstairs is a different story. As you can see already, I've changed it a bit. So it's no longer just a hole. This side is the up, this side is the down. So you drop down into a half block of water. I wasn't actually sure if this would break your fall, but it does. You can just have a half slab and then waterlog it, and that'll break your fall. And that's a lot nicer because it means you can just walk up. You don't have to jump out of the water or anything. So down here is finished up. The roof was in place, the temples on the sides were in place, but I worked on the floor. As you can see, I've added little riverways going through and filling up this pond. There's also 2 fish in the pond, both of the same species but different colors. For a while there was just the red fish in here, But he just looked so lonely in here, and it made me depressed seeing him alone in here every time I came down. So I had to get him a friend. Yeah, just added a bunch of decorations down here. Tried to make it more lively and make the floor less plain and samey. So some sections have this podzol where there's, you know, dead bush and some brown mushrooms growing. Also right here, this was just open for a while and we didn't know what we were going to put here. But once I finally got around to bringing these guys down here, I realized that there's nowhere to store emeralds from trades down here. So I made this a emerald storage spot. Added a crafting table and ender chest. Last time I said, well, you know, I mentioned this melon and pumpkin farm and the carrot and potato farm. And those are sort of the big projects of this episode. Both of them are complete. They are producing melons and pumpkins in large quantities, except that, you know, I went in here a few days ago and converted a bunch of the melons into, well, melons. And then this side is pumpkins. Yeah, not too, despite both of the melon and pumpkin farm having been built first, it's not as filled up as I thought it would be. Of course, I am trading the melons and pumpkins with the villagers. And, yeah, let's take a look in the inner workings back here. As you can see, there's a lot of hoppers that have gone into this. And even though this is quite a large storage, don't want to have to, you know, keep coming back in here to empty it or anything, so it's got overflow protection. So anything extra, if all the chests got filled up, any extra just goes into this chest here at the end, which then goes into a hopper, which goes into a dropper, which will activate it and shoot it into lava. And that's on both sides. Right, so up here we've got the item sorter. All the items come in from back here. You know, there's the melons and pumpkins, the whole farm. In case you haven't seen it, this is how it works. The observer is placed above the stem. When the stem falls, that is a change that the observer can detect. So it'll activate the pistons around it, and it'll push all the pistons down onto each of these blocks, and that'll break the melon or pumpkin, and so it'll fall on the ground. Once it's on the ground, we have a minecart system down here. Each lane has one minecart going back and forth. Once one of the minecarts picks up an item, it will stop here at the end, which is what this redstone is for up here. It'll detect whether there's an item in there. It'll, you know, if it detects that there's an item, it'll turn off the powered rail. It'll allow the minecart to empty. Yeah, anyway, you get the idea. You know, all the items get dropped off into some hoppers. Hoppers drop it into these droppers, and then those go into the hoppers again, which feeds into over here, which will sort it, and then, you know, goes into all the chests. So that's the melon and pumpkin side. Had to go into a creative world to actually get this all figured out. You know, get this design set in stone. Needed to know how high it was gonna need to be. So the carrot and potato side, here it is. Got a nice viewing room in here to see it all work. Same sort of system going on back here. Same item filter system up here. If I can get a good look at it. You know, same filter. And same overflow protection on the sides. this design is by Ilmango. So the way it works is there's one farmer per quarter section, and those farmers will farm for a bit. Then there's a villager in the middle, which they'll want to breed with. So they'll run over here, they'll stand in front of them like you see. Then at some point they'll throw carrots and potatoes at them. And then the villager won't be able to pick them up because the hoppers will pick them up. And all that gets filtered down into a system, which I'll show in a second. So the way I laid it out is I put carrots on this side, and then opposite from it I put carrots as well. And then I did potatoes, and opposite of that I put potatoes. And then I alternated that pattern as it went down. So since there's carrots here, then I did potatoes on that one, and then did the same thing where opposite that is potatoes, and so forth. So you might think it's just 2 layers, but it's actually 5 layers. All the same design, where it alternates carrots and potatoes and stuff. Doesn't have to be like that, but I just wanted to do it for aesthetics. So each layer obviously has 1 villager per quarter, and then 1 villager in the middle. So that's 25 villagers all over here. And when the villagers throw their food at their prospective partner, the hoppers will pick it up going all the way down. Then this final hopper puts it into this dropper. The dropper has a fast redstone clock on it. When this comparator detects that there's items in the hopper, the clock turns on, spits it all out. Then it goes along this track here, where ice helps move it along. Goes to the bubble elevator, which brings it all the way up here. Then we go on another little track here, which takes it all the way over here to the sorting system. And out here, we've got the storage for the carrots and potatoes. Looks like it goes to the 10th chest. So we got 9 full chests of potatoes and carrots. Yep, quite a bit of carrots and potatoes. I usually don't trade the carrots and potatoes for emeralds just because you need a lot more carrots and potatoes for the trade, so you can see, even though they're on discount. Easier to just do 1 melon and 1 pumpkin for 1 emerald. Not sure if I'll actually do something back here. The whole reason I made this glass and made it look nicer with the whatever that is. And in the back here is also polished andesite all along the walls on these 2 layers. But I don't know if I'll actually do anything in here, like, spruce it up, make it look nice. But the option is on the table if I ever actually decide to do something with that. It's also why I added the doors here, just because I didn't know if, what I was going to do back here. So that's pretty much it for this video. Took a lot of time designing and digging out, building these auto farms, so didn't get a whole lot else done. Also took a lot of time, curing and trading with the stonemason villagers. I've also just kind of been, messing around with the terrain outside, seeing what I like with the Nether overworld conversion. So not sure how much progress is going to be made next month. All just kind of depends on mine and Killer's motivation to keep playing. I'll try to always at least have something to show every month, like I did this month. Maybe Not as much, maybe more. Not sure. Still thinking about what all I want to do with the, you know, overworld conversion. But I hope you enjoyed the video anyway, and I'll see you guys next time.